Assalamu alaikum. This might be part 4 of my videos. I want to let you know, ladies and brothers, sisters and brothers. Assalamu alaikum, by the way. I want to let you know how the wrong marriage looks like. And what this brother did was wrong. And how to make it right. See, the brother used to be a pimp. He did 18 years for pimping and pandering in California, West Sacramento. And he met this girl. He was friends with her. But he was peeping her from afar. They first started having conversations about their kids, her kids. So he had his eyes on her and the fix was in. Okay, she's a nurse. I see when she works, how hard she works. I know what she makes. I'm going to go after her. Oh, okay, sister, you got kids. You ain't got no boyfriend. You don't got no husband. Your daddy kids ain't around. Let me start talking to you about your kids. Then you're going to feel comfort and you're going to feel that I'm a man and that I'm able to back myself up. So he knew that her living situation was a mess. And he had a baby mom who took the house, Samaya, who took the house that they bought that was in her name, and she put it in her mom's name. So he didn't have any legal right to the house. And because he moved in with me and I bought my home as an investment home, I wasn't going to let him put $2,000 or $3,000 down and have access to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of equity. We could never come to a agreeable consensus on what we were going to do with my house. So he wanted a house. So he knew that she was working, she was making money, she had kids, she was in an apartment, and eventually she needed to be in a house. She wanted to be in a house too. Her credit was a mess. So he slipped in. And his whole deal for dealing with her was because he wanted a house. So he dated her. He told her he loved her within 2 weeks. He bought her earrings, bought her a watch, bought her a ring. When a Muslim brother approaches you for marriage, there is no dating in Islam. So the right thing to do would be to say, hey, you know, I'm Muslim. Do you want to be a part of Islam? First of all, she didn't even have to convert. But he made her in so many words. How do you make someone convert? By introducing them to the deen in Islam and basically giving her no choice. So he turned her out onto Islam and she bit the bait. You know, if you want to know more about Islam, this is who I am. You know, let me be the leader, because she ain't had no leader. She ain't had no man. She ain't had no husband. She had 4 mismatching baby daddies for her kids. Ain't had no car, so he gave her a car. There's no dating in Islam. So the right thing to do would have been to say, hey, you know, I'm Muslim and I'm digging you. I want to get married. Let me introduce you to these people. Let me take you to my imam. You know, let's get married. They didn't get married until 8 months later. By that time, they were already sleeping with each other. She had no place to stay. For real, for real. So she went over to the first wife's house and they slept together. But see, they were already friends and they already knew each other. So her coming over wasn't really a big deal. But them fornicating behind closed doors while his grandbaby was there was. So the right thing to do would have been say, hey, I'm interested in marriage and I want you to go ahead and be married and then make all your decisions after the fact. But no. He saw that she was a working female, had a job, had some money, was living in an apartment, and really ain't had no place to stay. So he coerced her. And then he moved his things in little by little. And then they kept on fornicating. So that's how their relationship started. He knew that he wanted a house because he didn't get one from his baby mom. He didn't get one from me. So he basically had her get a house. They were married first by the masjid, a fly-by-night masjid. Well, as a matter of fact, I don't even know when the legal marriage, as far as I'm concerned, The masjid marriage took first, and then the legal marriage came after because the underwriter was pushing for it. But now that I'm listening to and reading text and putting everything together, it sounds as if they had to be married legally and then be married at the masjid. You have some masjids like Al Farouk that will not marry a couple without a license from the county. You have some fly-by-night masjids that will marry you without a license because they do understand that a man can have more than one wife. So basically, to make a long story short, he met her and he wanted a house. He was older, 55, wanted to stop being, put out, locks being changed, just things here and there everywhere. So he married her to get a house. So basically, she's stuck in this marriage because if she divorces, she's going to have to move out and the kids won't have any place to stay. Or she can buy him out, which she won't because she doesn't have enough money to buy him out. And she's not going to buy him out for the down payment. She's going to have to buy him out for half of the house because the house is marital property and he's due half. So for someone to be locked up, did 18 years, did 2 or 3 years of solitary confinement, living around, not guns, but living around men and violence and in prison, what is living next to a fat chick with 4 kids? That's a walk in the park for him to put down $4,000 and walk away with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or whatever half of the house costs as their equity. So the moral of the story is, brothers and sisters, if you get approached for marriage, go to the masjid and get married. Sisters, don't be bullied into what these Muslims are saying because they don't be right. He's been married 4 times. He knows exactly how it goes. He knows exactly what can and can't be done. He had a house in West Sacramento with the white girl. And when he went to jail, she sold the house and she moved on. But his family was able to find her and get her to give them $40,000, which was half of what the house sold for. But that wasn't even an easy task. So he got lucky and got his money. But this time around, her being the slick bitch or slick sister from Chicago, he wanted to make sure that he held her down. So basically, the ultimatum for her is, if you divorce me, your kids ain't going to have nowhere to go. Y'all going to have to move because the house going to have to be sold. Or you can keep the house, divorce me, but you're going to have to pay me either what I put down or half of the equity in this home. So it's one thing, people do get married and they do want to have houses and they do want to live happily together ever after. And I'm sure he loved it. I'm sure that's what he wanted. But the premise of the relationship was so that he could have a house. And she bit the bait. So it's upsetting in a lot of different ways because he could have did right by her. And I feel bad for her because she got sucked up in the plan because I didn't want to get married because I didn't want to be responsible for his $50,000 in child support. I didn't want to lose my house to somebody that I wasn't married to. And as a matter of fact, marriage wasn't even an option because he didn't want to get married and put the white folks in our business and this and that. But when it came to a house to get $50,000 or $60,000, this is what he did. All over a house. So it hurts because I had to struggle to get my house. And it's still not finished. As you can see, I'm still doing my study room. But this is all I have. And my finances aren't all together. And I'm trying to put this place every day together by myself. I get up, I sheetrock, I get up, I tape, then I go to sleep, and then I go to work. So to come in and let somebody just take my house, that's sometimes what other people do because I didn't want to. I lost the best thing that ever happened to me, which was him. So I feel bad because I didn't want to lose my house. Because I didn't want to lose my house, I lost him. And because there's other people out there that make more money and actually don't care about it, I had to lose. So one man's trash would always be another man's treasure. So I'm going to end this video, but to make a long story short, since if you get approached for marriage, have him take you to the man's gym. Don't sleep with him first. Don't delay the marriage. Get married first. Don't be whistling to the car that you don't have that he gave you. Don't be whistling to the earrings that he bought you. Don't be whistling to the watch that he bought you. It's all a part of his plan. Walaikum salam.